Colorado. And the thing I've been just thinking about today is depression really kicking you in the butt? If it is, let's have a conversation. Let's talk. Let's just hang out. Let's talk about depression. It's kind of a hard topic. It's a really hard topic if we're being honest, isn't it? Nobody wants to talk about depression. You know what I mean? At least in the real world, most of the time, we have to act like we have everything going well. You know, our act is together, so to speak. You know what I mean? But I'm a therapist in private practice. I do this channel to kind of dispense my wisdom, and sometimes I pick up clients from people who watch my videos. And but like, I don't know, just the topic of depression has been coming up, and it's like, I'm not a fixer. I'm definitely not a fixer therapist, and I don't like people who try to fix me when I have my challenges, and I have many life challenges. By the way, I see my own therapist. That's a whole story unto itself. But what was I going to say? Oh, so hey, there's no fixing. There's no cheap advice. Most challenges that we face, it's not like, oh, just do X, Y, and Z and you'll be fine. Sometimes that can be helpful, but a lot of times, at least in my life experience and in my professional experience, some of our biggest challenges, our deepest challenges, it requires a lot of time and hard work and processing of feelings, talking through all the details. And at least in that context, let's talk about depression. I really mean it. Like I put as the headline, is depression kicking your ass? Because I mean, I've had my bouts of depression, depressive symptoms. It can kick your ass. I mean, I just want to be clear. You're welcome to, if you're watching live, you're welcome to comment, or even afterwards in the reply section. What are your reflections on depression, mood disorders? How are you doing these days? Is life kicking you in the ass? You know what I mean? How much hope do you have? How much hope do you have? You know? By the way, I'm in a public space here. I'm in a coffee shop in my little Colorado mountain town of Westcliff, Colorado. Okay, there's lots of people kind of milling around. I live in this little touristy mountain town called Westcliff. Westcliff with an E at the end. Okay, go look it up. All right. And I have a Better Call Saul t-shirt. I cut the arms off, so it's a tank top now. Okay? So, by the way, hello to all three people watching. Okay? All right? Really, the theme, the topic is depression. All right? I actually do have a little list on a napkin here. All right? I'm just going to throw out some ideas, some questions, some life experiences maybe. Number one, maybe most importantly, I know this sounds sappy, and I'll admit I'm a touchy-feely therapist, but like number one thing is I want you to know that I care. Seriously, I care. And to that extent, do you have people who care about you? Do you have people who like kind of know what you're going through and they care and they express that they care? You know what I mean? Maybe they're good listeners. Maybe they just have a way of helping you feel not so alone. However, whatever their touch is, whatever their style is, do you have people who care? Depression is hard enough as it is. If it feels like nobody cares or you're just all alone, in this fight with depression, it's tough. It can be really tough. You know, so I can't do therapy through a live stream. And I have 4 people watching right now. Please say hello, say hi in the chat section. Give me your location. Where are you located? That would be kind of fun. But that would always be my first question as a therapist. If I were to go into therapist mode, is like, who's looking after you? Who cares? You know what I mean? About your life. And at the very least, I'm just some guy on the internet. But like, I care. So just first thought, I mean it. We're just going to hang out during this live stream. I'm hanging out. And I want you to feel like you can just chill with me. Put me in the background. I'm not the best looking guy. But maybe like put me on in the background because I'm going to go for a while. All right. Like I'm on the radio. You know what I mean? Just put me on the background. Okay. By the way, this video has been brought to you by this raspberry Spindrift sparkling water. It's not bad. Okay, it's a good drink. But the truth is, I actually bought this because it was only $1.75 plus tax. Usually I buy like a mocha, and it's like $6, $6.50 with tax. Actually, it's like $7. So I'm cheap right now. So, okay. Getting back to my list on the napkin. Hey, practical issue. Are you on meds? Are you on any kind of medication? If you're struggling with depression, it's really common. A lot of my clients where they struggle with chronic depression, they might be on medication of some kind, antidepressants, something like Wellbutrin. There's a whole number of medications. And, but it's common to like some of my clients, they're not regularly seeing their doctor. Maybe they were prescribed it 12 months ago, 18 months ago. They're still taking it, and it's like they don't follow up with their prescriber to say, hey, my meds are not helping, they're helping, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, so the first question is, are you on meds? Have you considered at least seeing a doctor for a medication evaluation? Okay. And then thirdly, if you're on meds, are you just taking them without following up with your doctor? Okay. I'm just throwing that out there as an idea. By the way, I am aware some people, a good number of people, they kind of object to the idea of taking medications for a number of reasons, and I totally understand. But it's just, first of all, well, I can get into a lot of topics, but I do want to bring up the issue of meds. Okay. I'm going to keep going down my list right here. Okay. Here's another topic. If you're struggling with depression, are you engaging in either numbing behaviors or addiction behaviors, almost like as a way to cope with depressive symptoms? Are you drinking a lot of alcohol? Are you getting high? Are you smoking cannabis? Are you overdoing it with cannabis? I call it cannabis, marijuana, whatever you want to call it. Those are at least red flags. Like, because those are like almost like negative ways to cope. And definitely alcohol and cannabis. It's almost like a bad form of medication. By the way, I want to be clear. I totally support cannabis being legal. I have big questions about like criminalizing all drugs, and we can get into all that. I totally support it being legal, but I do have concerns from a mental health standpoint. If you're you're medicating yourself, you're getting high as a way to cope, or turning to alcohol. Alcohol is a depressant by nature, as I understand it. So you could, very practical thoughts. If alcohol or cannabis is playing a role, all right, should maybe you give it up? Or should you at least decrease your use? So just a thought. Just a thought. You're welcome to comment or share your experience or whatever. If you have questions, if you have personal questions, I'll try to at least give you a general answer. Of course, I'm not your therapist if I reply to something that you ask in the comment section. Take a sip. Is depression kicking your ass? You want a natural antidepressant? Go exercise. Move your body. Go for a walk. Put on your sneakers. Go for a walk. Exercise. Go do something. Go do something that gets your heart rate up. Go for a little run. Go play pickleball. I've been playing pickleball. Go be active. Don't make excuses. Really, I do want to encourage you, and I do understand if you have physical limitations or whatever, if you have a disability, but in general, I want to encourage you to push yourself to say, hey, how can I be a little more active? Exercise is a natural antidepressant. Okay? I don't know the terminology, but I know there's something called endorphins, and when we sweat, we get our heart rate up. There's like a natural chemical or something that makes us feel better. And when we exercise and then we feel like tired at the end of a day or at the end of a workout, it helps us. And it gives us energy. So anyway, exercise is a natural antidepressant. Okay, I'm going through my list here. I still feel like so far, well, I did say that I care. Some of these are kind of superficial. Some of these topics. I always want to go deeper with my clients. I always want to talk about deeper issues. Here's one topic related to depression. Have you worked through any healing issues related to trauma and abuse? Sometimes that's at the heart of people's depressive symptoms. They've had trauma. They've had some really hard times in their lives. Childhood abuse. All sorts of trauma. I could do a whole live stream about trauma. I think I actually did a few months ago. Maybe I'll do another one. But, to the extent that like a traumatic past is part of your life and it's driving some of your depression, do you have a therapist? Have you done some of the work of talking things through, of processing feelings, thinking patterns, behavior patterns related to trauma? Just want to encourage you. If you haven't, I'm almost like more optimistic for you. You know what I mean? Or maybe I shouldn't even phrase it that way, because I don't want anyone to feel discouraged. But if you've never seen a therapist, or if you've never really worked with a therapist, there's an opportunity for you to say, okay, maybe I can work, maybe I can get a little better, especially related to depression. And then, by the way, I do want to be clear, I don't even want to imply that if you've done a lot of work in therapy, you've done a lot of work on yourself, it's like, that's the problem with depression, is it can still kick your ass sometimes. And, I don't want to be dismissive. It's almost like, I'm trying to think. I got to really like think about what I'm going to say. All I know is, I don't know. This is a hard topic. Just a hard topic. I just want you to know that I care. You know, I really care deeply about trauma. You want to talk about a topic that like rarely gets talked about. Trauma, abuse, you name it. People seeing the horrors of war, to rape and sexual assault, to like, being a witness to domestic violence when you're a kid, to first responders that are constantly going to car accidents and seeing, people in bad shape or dead from car accidents, police officers, that just have to deal with dangerous people or they're constantly on guard. Heaven forbid they got to, pull out their gun or whatever. There's all sorts of examples of like trauma. People that have experienced tornadoes or hurricanes or any kind of like life-threatening thing where suddenly their life is in danger. Being a victim of a crime, whether you're like being robbed, being mugged, these are all examples of trauma. There's other examples too. I have my own history of trauma, and I haven't even mentioned anything that I've been through, but you got to believe me, there's other examples of trauma. Okay. So anyway, to the extent that trauma, is part of your life and is connected to depressive symptoms, hey, I care. Let's talk about it. Are you seeing a therapist? By the way, and I want to be clear, I really mean this. If you've been seeing a therapist for years and years and years, good for you. It doesn't necessarily mean like if you still have some depressive symptoms, it's okay. It doesn't mean that you're like doing therapy wrong or anything like that. So that's all. Just want to encourage you with that. All right. I got more things on my list. Let's see. Here's what I've wrestled with in my own personal life when it comes to like depression is sometimes I feel like when I'm really struggling, it's just clear. I'm down. I got all the symptoms. Okay. I'm sluggish. I'm kind of sad all the time. I'm not enjoying the things that I usually enjoy. Maybe I'm sleeping more. There's other symptoms. Sometimes what helps me is get to this breaking point where I say, that's it. I got to fight this. I got to fight this depression. And like for me, it's like, I got to go exercise. I have to force myself to connect with somebody, to get out of isolation, to go talk to somebody. Sometimes it's a matter of saying, I got to get in my car and just drive out of this little mountain town, go to a city, go do something that I know might make me happy or like sharpen my senses a little bit. Go do something kind of crazy and radical. Just go eat in a restaurant. Go to a bar and just go do something kind of outside of your norm. Go talk to a stranger. Go fight. You got to fight. Like the opposite of fighting would almost be like, for me, it would be like just retreating, staying in my house, isolating, not connecting with anyone, not talking to a friend, and almost pitying myself. Sometimes you got to fight. It can be hard, Even that fight can simply be putting your shoes on, going for a walk, walking around your block, So I'm just talking, okay? I'm just some dude in Colorado with a worn out cowboy hat and a Better Call Saul tank top. By the way, I highly recommend Better Call Saul. Great TV show. First of all, watch Breaking Bad first. All right, watch Breaking Bad first. You can watch it on Netflix. Most of those, subscription type deals. Watch Breaking Bad first, and then Better Call Saul. It's a spin-off from Breaking Bad. And I bought this at the Breaking Bad store. Okay. I just had a woman a little while ago. She complimented my shirt. And it was just, yeah. It's always nice to get compliments. All right. I have one last thing on my list here. I kind of alluded to it, but I just wrote down talking things through. Have you ever just talked things through? Whether with a therapist or whoever, talk things through. Talk it out. What do you got to lose? What do you have to lose? You know? Too many people, they just keep everything in. I was totally guilty of that when I was a very young adult, my college years and into my 20s. I didn't know how to use words to simply just say, hey, I'm not doing well. I'm feeling kind of sad a lot. Or, I literally did not know how to, I didn't know how to say, hey, I'm just kind of struggling. I don't know what's going on in my life, but I'm not feeling good about things. I feel like my self-esteem is low, blah, blah, blah. I don't have a lot of hope. I'm kind of depressed. I didn't know how to use those words. Now I can. But anyway, just to use an analogy of like massage therapy, if you've ever seen a massage therapist, your muscles can be really tight. And I see a massage therapist like once a month. I usually see Sarah. And but sometimes my muscles are so tight. And it's the same way with like sharing and talking about feelings or talking about your life and your situations you're facing. It can be the same thing where people feel like it's hard to talk. There's that tightness. And just like anything, you have to work at it. Usually it can get a little easier once you learn how to use words to describe how you're doing, how you're feeling, what's going on in your head, what's going on in your mind and heart. Talk things out. Okay, some of this might be really basic to a lot of you. Okay, but I'm just throwing it out there for conversation. Okay. All right, how long have we been going for? 23 minutes? I'm going to go for 7 more minutes. I'm going to go for a half hour. Okay? So, is depression kicking your ass? It's almost like if I was your therapist, I would be like, let's talk about how it's kicking your ass. How is it kicking your ass? Is it affecting your friendships? Is it affecting your relationship with your significant other? Is it affecting your work? How's your level of hope? Your sleep? Is your depression affecting, are you having thoughts of wishing you were dead or thoughts of suicide? Is your depression affecting do you engage in any kind of self-harming behaviors? Things like harming your wrists with a sharp edge. There's other things people do. However your depression manifests, or affects you, there's no shame. It's okay. It's okay to just, there's no judgment. That's my number one rule. It's like therapy is safe. That means there's no judgment. You know, but there are other ways that like depression affects you. You know, you know, it's crazy. I have this specialization that's sort of fallen into my lap, but it's working with people who've lost someone to suicide. It's called complicated grief. You know, you lose someone to old age. It can be really sad, really devastating, but there's sort of this natural feeling when someone's older. When you lose someone to suicide, it can be traumatic. It can be, there's all these complicated feelings of shock, anger, trauma. Why did this happen? Did I play any role in this? And so I'm just throwing that out there. It's kind of wild because I have some people contacting me about it, and that's good. I mean, it's good for work and for helping people. But now I've gotten into the habit of asking almost all of my clients, "Hey, have you ever lost someone to suicide?" And far too often, someone's like, "Yeah, I lost. I had a friend. I had an uncle. I knew this person back in a coworker." Unfortunately, it's far too common that someone has lost someone to suicide. So, I'm just rambling a little bit, I suppose. Depression, it sucks. It sucks. I actually put that as a hashtag. I found it. I found a hashtag that said depression sucks. Yes, totally sucks. But I don't know. Let's just talk about it. At the very least, you can hang out with me. Like even one more thing. I don't know if this is obvious. So everyone's at a different level, so to speak, in their growth and whatever emotional stuff. But it's like, I want to be the guy as a therapist and as a friend. I want to be the guy where it's like, you can say, "Steve, I am totally depressed right now. I'm not going to do anything drastic, but man, I'd love to just fall asleep and never wake up. I'm just a mess right now. And you know that I'm not going to try to fix you, that it's okay. It's okay to just say, I'm a mess. I'm totally depressed right now." And you can just be. You can just simply be with me. That's the kind of friend and therapist I want to be. You know what I mean? So you don't have to be perfect. Sometimes my clients feel like, I think they feel this way. Because occasionally someone's told me it, but it's like, it's okay to tell me, "You know what, Steve, I've been seeing you for a few weeks. I'm actually getting worse. I'm actually getting more sad, more depressed. I'm feeling even more hopeless." Like, it's okay. You don't have to put this pressure on yourself to say, "Hey, things are getting better. Oh, I'm improving." If things are getting worse, it's okay. It's probably not your fault. You know what I mean? Maybe you're doing the hard work. I mean, the irony is sometimes when we do the hard work of facing issues, dealing with feelings, leaving our comfort zone, it actually feels worse for a while before we start feeling better. So, but anyway, that's a roundabout way of saying there's no pressure or implication of, okay, so you're struggling with depression. Well, what are you going to do about it? Come on. You can't just sit there and be depressed. What are you going to do about it? Let's go. You can't just wallow in your pain and so, Look, I get it. Like, a lot of my clients do want to overcome their depressive symptoms. That's normal. Okay. But I still at least want to establish it's okay to just be yourself. And if you're in pain, it's okay. Your imperfections are okay. You can simply be, I'm really big on that. Really big on that. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, I know, like, when I'm struggling, I'm having a hard time, and I want to be honest with somebody, a friend. I've got a few good friends. The last thing I want is for them to be like, "Oh my gosh, we got to fix you. Oh my gosh, you're having a bad day. Well, how are we going to turn it around? Come on, Steve, you can't be depressed. You got so many good things going for you. Other people have it worse than you. Blah blah blah." No, that's horrific. That's going to cut me off, and I'm not going to feel comfortable about being honest and authentic about how I'm doing. So, anyway, I'm just rambling. All right. Bottom line, hey, it's Friday afternoon in Colorado. It's 3:15. In this very moment, wherever you are around the globe, that's the beauty of the internet. I just want you to know, if depression's kicking your ass, I'm sorry about it. I'm really sorry. I hope you have people who care. Do you have people you can talk to? Do you at least feel like you have some hope or maybe a game plan about, how to improve your situation a little? There's no pressure. It's okay to struggle. Depression isn't a sign of weakness or failure on your part. It's hard, man. Trauma can play a huge role. You know what I mean? There's so many factors. Divorce happens, death, natural disasters, losing a loved one, you name it. There's so many things. Job problems, financial problems, living with war. By the way, I'm an American. Our country is so screwed up these days. It's just embarrassing. It's disgraceful. But we do have a lot of peace, and we haven't had a war in our homeland, but there's lots of places where there's such instability and wars going on. And anyway, there's so many reasons. And anyway, that's a roundabout way of saying whatever you're going through, whatever are your background issues that might be driving your depression, please go easy on yourself. Okay? Go find a therapist. Go talk about it. You know what I mean? Find someone who cares. Open up. Do not isolate. Okay? So, if you have any comments about anything I've said over the last 33 minutes, you're welcome to say in the reply section or the chat section. Okay? I can't be your therapist directly, in a comment section. But whatever. I mean, you've got a question or a comment, I'd love to read it. Okay? And I might respond accordingly. So, all right, take care, everyone. All my love from this coffee shop, Westcliff, Colorado. Go look it up. Westcliff with an E at the end. Just cute little mountain town. Do an image search, okay? When you look up Westcliff, you'll see there's big mountains to the west. Huge mountains, all right? So, all my love, and take care. So long.